Hi, I'm Craig, film enjoyer living in England, and little fact for you, a little bit of trivia. Did you know that St. John's Wort causes epilepsy? That's the film, not the medical shit.
Ooh, I have facts about the film. I'm not going to share them now. They're deep facts. Fun facts.
Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England, and I do not have any fun facts about St. John's Wort. And when I started watching the movie, I thought it was going to be a more in-depth look at some of the recipes featured in The Nightmare Before Christmas, and that turned out not to be the case. So I'm sorry if anyone else was as confused as I am.
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I didn't learn, I already knew it, but I had it confirmed that there is only one good exorcism film ever made. But do you know what I did learn? I will share what I did learn. When The Exorcist came out, there were 0 professional exorcists in the United States. In 2016, there were 50 exorcists, professional Catholic Church, approved exorcists. You want to guess how many there are now?
Wait, I could go back and get the stats.
I already told you. I know. No, there's 150 in the U.S. and 905 globally. So if you ever wanted,
think maybe just The Exorcist came out and people with like really shitty children were like,
well, no, they used to go
possessed by Satan rather than just horrible children.
It actually it coincides with the rise of white Christian conservative Christian nationalist identity politics. So there's a reason for it. While folks stop going to school and talking to shrinks and instead getting exorcisms, but that's a bit more complicated than we usually go into. I mean,
are you saying,
you guys
Dave,
usually go into?
Are you saying that you believe the number of exorcists available at the moment is surplus to requirements?
I think yes. As a matter of fact, I believe 50 was surplus.
I mean, people might not get that, but that is gold. I'm telling you, people, that is gold.
Yeah.
I'm Tyler Hosley, and I just got home from the Bukkake party. It was a disaster. Nobody came. And this is Raiders of the Podcast.
Oh,
yay!
Oh, yay for Raiders, but boo for that joke.
That's not a joke.
It's
a tragic story from Tyler's own
Tyler
life.
never goes anywhere where someone doesn't come.
it's real life, man.
Tyler walks in a door and someone comes. I've known him too long to believe that's not a joke.
That's why my floor looks like a glazed donut from Krispy Kreme, man.
This is ejaculate chat already. Ejaculate chat. I thought you were still debating mine based on the the dress code of priests and stuff.
We've kept it classy for so long, but now no.
Straight into the loving spoonfuls.
Well, I didn't watch anything with ejaculate in it this week, unfortunately, but I did watch Domestic Disturbance. I've always really dug this one. It's just like a solid little early 2000s thriller. Travolta's good.
Needs some ejaculate, obviously.
It does. I would like to see Vince Vaughn ejaculate at least once.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet. But he's really good in the villain role, even though he doesn't ejaculate. It's nothing original, but I found this one always rewatchable. It's just, even if it's like background noise, it's a good little thriller. And I watched Get Thrashed, which is a documentary on the history and progression of thrash metal. It's pretty solid. It's got some good interviews and some really good concert footage of the bands, but it's not the most well put together documentary. It was just a quick one I found on Tubi that was about metal, and I just wanted to watch it. It's pretty good. Like I said, the concert footage is really good, but it's just kind of cobbled together. But if you love metal, it's definitely worth a watch. I enjoyed that one overall. And besides that, I've just been watching the Mayans. I'm on season 2, and I'm really digging that one so far. And that's me.
I had a bit of a dive, but before that, I want to talk about. I saw the newest Shudder movie, Shadow of God. It's well, if you hadn't guessed from my introduction, it's an exorcism movie, and it sucks. It sucks so bad, and I feel really bad saying that because the cast is actually pretty good. The lead guy is I don't have it right in front of me. Okay, here we go. Mark O'Brien, and he does really well with it. He does his absolute damnedest to make this character in this film work. Unfortunately, the rest of the cast is a bit of a mixed bag. Especially the guy that plays Lucifer is kind of absolute shit. But the movie is just really fuck-witted. If you're gonna make a movie about a Catholic exorcist, maybe you should understand something about Catholicism and exorcisms and the religion, but they didn't. They didn't do the bare minimum of their due diligence to, make the movie. They have them quote Bible quotes that are absolutely nothing like what the quote is. Now, I'm not religious, and I wasn't raised religious. I mean, at best, I would say that I am an atheist who is interested in philosophical Taoism. So not really, as deeply versed as someone who's writing a movie about a Catholic should be. It's lazy, it's half-assed. There's some okay effects in it, but besides some okay effect shots and the lead guy, there's no reason to watch this. Just watch The Exorcist again, because this is just boring, dull crap. It's just really underwhelming theist horror. I don't get how you can make a theist horror film where they talk a lot about spirituality and religion and not have even the smallest passing idea about that theology and religion. It's just the whole thing just blows my mind with how little effort they put into it. But they obviously had money and backing. They could have made something really good, and they chose to be lazy as fuck. So my dive was much better for me because of a certain film we watched this week. I went deep into some J-horror, and I love me some J-horror. I went back and I watched the first 2 installments of the Ju-on series, Ju-on the Curse and Ju-on the Curse 2. I also saw Katsumi, and I always say it wrong. 4. The short films. I really like Ju-on. I really like The Curse and The Curse 2. I mean, they're essentially, redone in the Grudge. But they're really solid. They're nice seeds that bloom into one of my favorite series, and they connect to the original shorts. It's not even like the guy set out, he made something and he just kept going. And I love how it connects and loops into each other. I watched Carve, the Slit-Mouthed Woman, which I've watched before, and I've mentioned I have a real soft spot for. I know a lot of people do not like it for reasons. Those people are wrong. It's a lot of fun. It's just an atmospheric, interesting little flick that takes an urban legend and tries to do something with it. The effects are pretty good. It's no budget. It was also the first movie I ever watched streaming on Netflix when they first started streaming 20 years ago. It's been fucking forever. I enjoy it. I am a fan. I know a lot of people aren't, but I think it's a solid one with some good kills and an interesting setup. I watched Nori, The Curse, which is also fucking great. And if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's a really disturbing epic that should really get more praise outside of, horror fanatics. It's a good one. And I capped it off with my second or third favorite Japanese horror film, the 1988 supernatural slasher film Evil Dead Trap. You guys have seen Evil Dead Trap, right?
Ah, yes.
Yes.
I have.
I
I did
can't
not
remember.
expect that to go as
Hello?
berserk in the third act as it went.
Oh, fuck, I muted you guys. Hey. Hello?
Hi.
I looked away to look at my notes, and Discord muted you guys. So I'm sitting here like, what the fuck?
Disgusting.
Am I the only one that hasn't seen Evil Dead Trap then?
Oh, it is on my pick list. So if you guys are thinking about rewatching it, hold off a little while. We will be watching it in October,
Nice.
maybe July. I really like Evil Dead Trap. It's a lot of fun. So you will be watching it, Kevin.
Cool.
But yeah, that was me.
I mean, I've seen the Carved, the Slipmouth Woman, and enjoyed that. I don't think it quite got a Kevin 7, but it's a good little spooky tale.
Yeah, I
It's-
mean, it's like a 5, but a 5 is fine
Yeah.
sometimes.
Did you ever see Inugami? Can't remember if I mentioned that when I watched that a while ago.
No, not that I can recall.
Not as sort of heavily leaning into the spookiness or any really intense horror, but it's a really good film that's based on idea. I think Inugami maybe means wolf spirit or dog spirit. So in this village, they believe that one family has this spirit, or one member of the family had the spirit that they have to kind of appease. And yeah, I would mess it up if I tried to explain more, but it's a drama with that supernatural overtone, and I think you would really like it because it's very much about that. It's almost I would say it probably comes under the umbrella of folk horror.
Yeah, it's
in that way.
it's on AMC Plus. I don't know if it's on Shudder, but it's on AMC Plus. It is on Shudder. I am going to. I didn't see that when I was looking through Japanese stuff on Shudder. I'm going to watch the shit out of that, probably as soon as we're done talking.
Cool. Like, I wouldn't tell you to watch it if you're in the mood for grudge movies and Norway and all that, which are great. But I think it's one that I think it'd be enough there to interest you. Hopefully,
I'm flexible.
Yeah, I know. I've seen the videos.
Yeah,
So I watched.
I'm glad somebody did.
I watched some terrible stuff this week. Like even
I watched
for
him
me,
like that girl in Red Room, just ashen faced.
but even for me, there were just wildly awful choices. I kind of marked the passing of Val Kilmer by at last getting through The Saint on about my third attempt to watch it. That's not a good film. It's not good, and Kilmer isn't. He's not to be blamed for that. He's there. Elizabeth Shue is there, and Philip Noyce is directing with. It seems like no sense of purpose, and I kept waiting for some kind of set piece that the movie might have been hung on, because I couldn't remember when it was released in the late 90s and when it was marketed. All I remember is I quite liked the updated version of the tune. I think it was Orbital that did the Saint tune. I like that funky dance version. That's all I remember about the film, and seeing some photos of Val Kilmer in some amusingly silly disguises. But I thought I'd missed all the marketing that showed some great set piece or some big action beat that made it worthwhile. I did not miss any of those things because they are not there. It is a film that essentially flatlines from start to finish, and the only real joy of it comes from the moments where Kilmer looks like he's having fun, which isn't all the time, but there are a few moments where he seems to be having a bit of fun, and that helps. But yeah, I had so many better choices I could have made, and I did not. And then this like technically this isn't as bad, but it sort of feels bad. And I know if we made Dave watch this, there would be a volcanic rage explosion, and it would probably be a podcast ender just for that righteous fury. I
God
watched.
damn it! I'm gonna watch it now.
Are you though, Dave? I watched Unfrosted.
Oh, I've seen
Oh,
Unfrosted.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I watched it when it was doing because I was sick and I was bored and I watched it and
Oh,
that would
I
end
can't.
somebody. I mean, not you guys. I love you all too much, but if I ever get my
I,
hands on fucking Jerry Seinfeld,
I can't recall. I can't recall the tsunami of rage I would expect from you. You probably did it, and I just filed it alongside standard Dave rage. So that's on me. But yeah,
you thought I was kidding, but I wasn't. That wasn't hyperbole. That was Jerry Seinfeld should be beaten with a tire iron for real.
What a
it's
comeback,
just
eh?
yeah.
20 years of
and
nothing and then Unfrosted.
it's so odd. And yeah, not only 20 years of nothing, but then actually a large period of time of him telling everybody that he just can't do comedy anymore. No, Jerry, you can't do comedy anymore because you've made it clear when you've made Unfrosted. That's what that tells everyone. It just goes on and on about, oh,
While
you
Larry
can't say
David has been
anything
making
anymore.
comedy in the entire interim.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I get it. He's made his money and he can still write gags, but not going on the evidence of Unfrosted, which is a film that has a lot of comedic talent in it. Some of whom I really like, and I didn't mind Melissa McCarthy in this. I'm maybe a bit of a McCarthy apologist, but she was certainly not the worst person in this. I enjoyed her. But this is a film with all of those people that Seinfeld sort of packs in there. And once again, it's basically Hugh Grant stealing pretty much every scene he's in because he is well, he's
I mean,
Tony the
to be
Tiger,
fair,
really.
that is what Hugh Grant does now. Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons, he steals every scene. That horror movie he was in, steals every scene. I mean, that's just Hugh.
But like he made this bearable being this classic Shakespearean actor who is quite miserable as the mascot of Tony the Tiger for a cereal company and wanting his respect and his dues. Like that was a good part of that. But the rest it's so odd and it's so bad. And it's one of those films that you wonder how people got together and made the series of decisions that are chained together to just have that be the end result. Really strange. And then let me know if I mentioned this one last week, guys. You know how forgetful I get. Did I mention watching Hostile Dimensions?
I don't think so.
Nope. No, not that I
That
remember.
dropped on Shudder either this week or last, and it is the same writer director star as Death of a Vlogger. And Death of a Vlogger was a film that many horror fans really liked. I myself held back and didn't give it the coveted Kevin Seven award, but I did enjoy it. Hostile Dimensions is basically about doors that are freestanding. If you find one, if you open it, it might not be your own dimension on the other side. That is the idea. I kept thinking of the doorways as they appear in the Dark Tower series, but obviously it's not a new idea. More sci-fi tinged, I would say, than actual horror. So I don't know if horror fans will dig this one as much, but I think it sort of felt in some ways like a step up from Death of a Vlogger, but there were also some moments where there's really just clumsy, crude effects being thrown around just because, oh, it's okay. That's just a glimpse of a dimension that everyone can accept. You know, looks like an Atari ST. So it does have that, but I've got to say I would tentatively recommend it especially for those who liked Hughes and his Death of a Vlogger outing.
God, I wish a Kevin recommendation meant anything to me at this point. I'd rush and watch it.
No, I mean, I wouldn't.
You can't be trusted.
I wouldn't highly recommend it to you, Craig. But if it was something I saw that I felt strongly about, you would know if I was giving it a Kevin 7 out of 10. 7. But yeah, that's right. I started the first couple of episodes of season 7 of Black Mirror that dropped on Netflix as well, and I'm mentioning that because most episodes go between 45 minutes to an hour, but there are a couple of episodes, I think they're about 77 minutes to 80 or 90 minutes for a couple of them. So I'm going to try and get to it as and when and look forward to it. And I do recommend the two that I watched so far. The standard tech twisted, bleak, depressive horror with occasional moments that uplift you just before your heart is pumped again. So yeah, that's it. Did any of you guys start that yet?
No, I'm way behind. I don't think I got past season 2. Maybe 3.
I can't remember, like the first one that appeared on Netflix seemed weak, and I'm sure it was only 3 episodes, but it definitely was that worrying time of, oh, Netflix have taken it over and this doesn't seem like a great fit. Now we've got that. But then it did pick up again, and obviously it can be a bit uneven, but every episode's different, and there's some absolute belters there. But if you are in the mood to handle being absolutely wrecked from some of them, that's me.
I watched The Monkey, the new. God damn it! I haven't written very good notes this week, so I can't remember anyone's names. The new. Come
Oz
on, new Oz Perkins film. Yeah, that was okay. I expected a bit more from it. It's got the exact tone that I thought it was going to have, which is just kind of mischievous, gory nonsense. And like the first half's pretty solid. Like the deaths are funny, and I was in. And then the second half, it kind of it wants to tell a story that is very interesting. It wants to push its characters, which are underwritten, and even the deaths, they just become a bit same old, and it really just kind of grinds to a halt for me. I really wasn't a fan of the last half. I think Theo James does admirably, considering how horribly miscast he is in this film. He does a pretty good job, but there aren't really any characters. There's no reason to get invested. So once you're kind of a little bit bored of the human bodies exploding, it doesn't really have a lot to offer. It's fine, I guess. Everyone's seen. No, I know Tyler has, and I know Kevin has seen The Monkey.
I have not.
Oh,
okay.
I have not cared enough for Osgood Perkins stuff to go out of my way for it.
I wouldn't. It'll be on something at some point where you won't have to pay, and you can be disappointed. Also, well, you won't be disappointed. You'll just be like, "Ha! I told you so."
Seems likely. Yeah, that's how I like to be.
Then I did a rewatch of Rolling Thunder, the 1977 exploitation film, and it is fucking fantastic. I like this more time I watch it. It is the only film that is as good as Quentin Tarantino says it is. You know, it's not the Psycho remake. He's got a good point here. Rolling Thunder is really, really fucking good. Like the basic like revenge storyline is very The Punisher. It's the best The Punisher film there's ever been. Whilst not, you know, I'm not really being one. It's really well cast. Like Tommy Lee Jones is really good in a kind of supporting role. Linda Haynes is absolutely fantastic as a second lead. But William Devane in Rolling Thunder gives one of my favourite performances just in movies. Like, at all. I mean, I always enjoy William Devane. He's a really underrated, like, does lots of good stuff on TV, pops up all over the place, just doing solid work. But in Rolling Thunder, he is so good at just being dead behind the eyes. Everything this character does in this film is just filed away in like missions. He sets himself little missions and he completes them without any emotion or joy. Even when it's like his child and his wife get killed and he goes out for revenge, it's just something he has to do, and he just he does it with all the emotion of, like, you know, taking the trash out, and it's a sad fucking movie, but it's a beast. It really is. I really, really, really like Rolling Thunder. I'm going to be picking that soon. I know Tyler's a big fan. Is Tyler there? Am I there?
You're there. Tyler
I
muted
hear
it.
you.
According to this, Tyler muted his mic, and I don't know if he's remembered to unmute it.
I like Rolling Thunder, but to give you a boost, I heartily agree with you on William Devane in anything that he's done. I think he's awesome and sorely lacking in of an appreciation you should get from people.
Oh,
I had no
absolutely.
idea I had no idea my mic was muted. But yes, I fucking love Rolling Thunder. It's a masterpiece.
I mean, if I was, it's not possible because I wasn't born. I was minus 3 years old. But if I was Academy in 1977, I would have put William Devane up for an Academy Award for Best Actor. I think he is fucking stunning in that movie, and it just elevates the whole thing. Yes, love that one. And then I watched 2 films this week through the eyes of other people. One of them we'll get to later in the show, but the other is I spoke to my stepson James, and he was really enjoying the RoboCop video game. And then I found out that he had not seen the movie RoboCop, and the shiver of excitement knowing that I was going to introduce him to RoboCop, it's beautiful. I've never been so happy in my life. And so we sat down and watched RoboCop, and RoboCop is the fucking best. I think it's just one of the best movies ever. There are movies that, you know, a genre movie, like Tremors, like the movies are just so fantastically entertaining. I consider them some of the best movies ever made. I don't care if they're not as, you know, artsy, you know. I don't care if they're, you know, Oscar material. They're just, it's just, sometimes you watch a film like RoboCop and you're just remembering all these moments that are coming up. Like, oh my God, that bit, and then that bit, and then that bit, and it's just how, I don't know how it is this rewarding 30 years on, but RoboCop is just fucking amazing. I fucking love RoboCop, obviously, and I'm going to assume that all 3 of you love RoboCop.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask, is it not closer to 40 years on now?
It is.
I'd
much
say 30
closer.
years since I watched it, but
Yeah,
that makes sense.
it's scary to always be reminded of these things. Like, oh, it's still so fresh and modern. They're like, no, it's almost 40 years old, and the kids nowadays won't choose to watch it. Did James enjoy it?
It hasn't aged. Yeah, absolutely. It hasn't aged a day, as far as I'm concerned. Not a day. Even like the 80s fashion, they just remind me of its influences, which were, you know, Judge Dredd and, you know, the characters of Mega City 1. It still looks like the future, the near future. It just has not aged a single day. The cast fantastic. What's his name? He was in the 70s show, and he died when that guy went on trial, and he was nice about him.
What's
his name?
Yeah, Kurtwood
Smith. Kurtwood Smith, who tragically died when he was being nice about that Scientology rapist. He's my favourite villain in cinema. There's no other villain I can think of who enjoys being a villain as much. as Clarence Boddicker. I love him, and I love this kind of old school gangster accent he has to the character. It's just wonderful. It's fucking RoboCop. I love RoboCop. Everybody go watch RoboCop. You've seen it, but watch it again. It's the best. And we're going to watch Total Recall next week. So I'm very excited to introduce him to that as well.
Oh man, you were just knocking it out of the park, man.
Oh, we're going to watch next Thursday is my TV day. So next week we're going to watch. I've forgotten the title already. Arnie film. My mind is broken.
Total Recall.
Yeah, Total Recall. Yeah, and then the week after that we're going to watch Starship Troopers. I'm going to introduce him to the Master.
I am not going
Wow.
to repeat. I'm not going to repeat this verbatim, but full enough, I listened to a podcast today that was discussing RoboCop and discussing Hearing of a Tale about Kurtwood Smith. You know the scene with Miguel Ferrer and the women. And Kurtwood Smith leave. Well, apparently both Verhoeven didn't have as good a grasp on language. I just thought bitches was a term like women or girls. So he's directing to see his planet. He's like, and the bitches will be over here, and then we'll if the bitches would like to sit just now or stand, he's like, should the bitches leave? Will you say bitches leave or should they stay? And Kurtwood Smith is like, and then the bitches left. But I have stolen that from someone else relating that story, but it was golden. So your timing couldn't have made me happier to just tell you that little tale.
Yay! So yeah, I'll tell you what James thought. Total Recall next week.
Nice.
That was me for the week.
This week we watched the 2001. I'm sorry, the 2001 Japanese horror film based on Chun Soft's visual novel Otogirisō, or St. John's Wort, and the 2021 Chinese crime drama Streetwise. I'm gonna go with Craig first. Craig, would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Sure, I will pick Streetwise, and god damn it, I'm gonna have to do a little introduction here. So I'm just gonna look up the synopsis because I'm lazy. God damn it. Synopsis. This film follows a Dongzi who is filled with conflicting emotions and has to deal with debts for the treatment of his father. His only reprieve is Jiu'er, but in one night does. Oh, that's way too spoilery. No, I'm not reading that out. There's Chinese people, some bad things happen, and that's it. I had not seen Streetwise, but I owned it, so I was really glad to get round to it. I wasn't that glad when I found out it was Region A, and I had to dig out my Region A player. That was a whole ordeal, but I'm really glad I got to it. It is. I don't like the phrase "a whole mood" because it was originally African American vernacular, and then it was kind of co-opted by every social media intern in the entire world, and everything was a whole mood. Like pot noodles, new sizzling steak, fajita flavor was a whole mood. Everything was a whole mood.
If middle class white people didn't steal African American vernacular, English would be a dead language by now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm just putting that out there.
So look, I try not to say things are a whole mood because I don't want to sound like a social media intern. But Streetwise, it's a whole mood. It is a whole fucking mood. Like, I like the story. I really, really loved the characters. I had deep affection for these characters, but this is less about them. This is a film about a time and a place, and it is expressed through sheer mood. A whole mood, if you will, and that mood is just being suffocated. Frankly, you've seen a million films where someone's suffocated or strangled, and they're trying to reach for some implement that will save them at the last moment, and that's kind of what this film was like throughout, except that, you know, every time they were about to grab hold of an implement, someone like just drags it a little bit further out of reach, and they can never grab a hold of it, and it fucking hurts. And this movie hurts a lot, and it hurts because there is so much fucking heart in this movie, in the first half of this movie, but and in these characters, like tender fucking heart. Like that central relationship is, it's so much more than a romance. A romance would be quite dull, and it's beyond that. It's two people in desperate situations who find something precious in one another. Like they're the last drops of hope that they have in the tank for each other, and it really, really got to me. And it could easily have been a real fest, and I don't think it was. I think it's got a really sly sense of humor. Like it's got the like deadpan, melancholic, almost like absurd humor, especially in its imagery, like the cigarette butt and the broken nose, the protagonist's shoe up in a tree, the guy like dragging his happy face the rocks on the beach because he can't get, you know, get his kite in the air. It's just got, there's got something like very human, very absurd in its imagery, and there's a lot more to it than just misery. I think the performances are fantastic. They're like really subtle. They're really sincere and nuanced. They really they were heartbreakers. I think everyone in this film was fantastic. The cinematography is fucking breathtaking at points. So this is some like Wong Kar-wai level beautiful shit. Like the cinematography gives everything depth. It gives the city so much character. It's really beautifully shot. The score is gorgeous. It's got this beautiful like little kind of lilting post rock score throughout. I wanna find a copy of it because I would listen to it on its own. There wasn't really anything about this movie that I didn't like. I thought this was a bit of a banger. I think the only thing I didn't like about this movie was that it made me say a hot mood several times tonight. But apart from that, Streetwise is a bit of a banger. So I'll be looking out for, you know, more stuff by this director. It's a beautiful little sad movie that I really enjoyed.
Do you want to go to you, or do you want me to go?
Nah, go for it.
Okay. I didn't own this, so I didn't have to rush and sort out my copy. But yeah, I obviously didn't love this as much as Craig, from how he has just waxed lyrical about it. But I did like a lot of it, and I did like once you. It's almost like once it kind of warms up and you get used to how the relationships are set up and where things are going. Like Dongzi is a bit of a sad sack lead, and he's well played by someone who I'm not going.
Luixo Lee.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. So yeah, it's a good performance. I liked him, and there's also I've got to
It's a
say,
very Song Kang-ho type performance, I think. Just a kind of belligerent, slightly violent, but not very good at being violent. Kind of
yeah,
oaf.
there's that anger and frustration in him, but there's kind of a physical, not, I don't want to say weakness, almost like a lesser capability. Like he's left in
Ineffectual.
situations where he's getting beaten. Yeah. But he's really good in that role, and Mei Huang is really sort of good and is obviously appealing to his character. She plays Jiu'er. They're good. The dads, like it's kind of fun when he's being also belligerent and quite a prick, and unrepentantly so, but also at times doesn't want his son making more trouble for himself, and almost acts as if he sees a way things will pan out better than his son. And you're waiting to see where that will or will not happen. And then the other character, who I've forgotten the name, is the person that Dongzi works with, kind of his mentor, who's their debt collectors. I can't remember who played him. It was June, wasn't it? It was just June. Dave, do you remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I wrote down all the names, but it was in Chinese, so and Facebook or no, Wiki didn't list everybody, so I was about to pull up the
yeah, it doesn't match.
IMDb.
Doesn't really match who with who.
Yeah, so I was about to pull up the IMDb while you were talking, but my internet is going slow today. So give me
Anyway,
of course they don't have pictures or names, so
no.
I'm gonna guess it's Yao Lu.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it has to be Yao Lu. He's an actor I've seen in other stuff, so
Right. So he's really good, and also has that kind of sad sack quality and that desperation, and it's, but in a way he's worse than the lead because of choices that he makes. He's in a bad place, and he's making bad choices, whereas Dongzi is in a bad place and still trying to make at times the right choices, apart from when it comes to matters of the heart, and he's being led by his heart. So I like these different character arcs.
I'm sorry,
running parallel.
I was wrong. The guy's name is Yu Aili.
All right, okay.
The other guy I had two options and I chose wrong.
You have not chosen wisely. But that's fine. Oh, Yu Aili is he's good, so he plays Jun then. I'll take your word for that. But I like these character arcs running parallel, intertwining, going together. What, unfortunately, like it didn't. Although I figured out what was happening, I didn't like the way this started and the way it ended. The very end. It just left me wanting, and those are kind of, they're quite important, considering how much I did get into the rest of the film. Once it warmed up, I got into it, started to see what was at stake for people and where things were going, and the end feels quite abrupt, feels quite unsatisfying for me. And I say the start felt quite disconnected. You do think that's sort of something that comes around at the end, and it could match up at some point, but again, things are played in a way where they're almost just different scenes rather than you seeing a path between them where the film has led you. So that is what put me off. Other than that, I like the whole middle section, and there are some great scenes in there, some great encounters between people who are just like, at opposite sides of either confrontation or just differences of opinion on how to act and how you should be carrying yourself if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And it was a real impressive debut from the writer-director, who is called, I'll try and pronounce it, is it Zhao Na? Zhao Na?
Yeah, that would have been my guess.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that pronunciation.
I'm going to say no,
Yay.
and you mispronounced it, and you said something deeply racist.
Well, I mean, yeah. but close enough.
So really, as I say, it boils down to I liked kind of everything in between, but it was important to me that it kind of worked as a complete piece, and that didn't happen because of the scenes at the very beginning and the very end, unfortunately. But still, it's a really, really good debut.
Yeah, I'm fully team Craig here. This was great. Like this, no joke, might be going to the very top with some of my favorite Dave picks for the podcast thus far. Love this one. Yes. It's a super gritty, bleak realism, depressing as hell in the best possible way. It's hopelessness in the form of cinema. And I just, you know me, I revel in that shit. I mean, Craig put it perfectly. This is a whole fucking mood. I mean, this shit just slaps so hard. No cap, dog. To quote Gen Z. Sorry, I just had to do that. Yeah, the cinematography is excellent. I loved all the neon. It's not very heavy on dialogue. I mean, there's dialogue, yes, but for the most part, it relies pretty heavily on its atmosphere, and I fucking adore the atmosphere of this entire film. You could argue style over substance, sure, but I mean that's my jam, man. This was right in my wheelhouse. Cast is really good. The lead is really fucking good too. The score is great. It's insane to me that this was a debut film for this filmmaker. I mean, it's harsh, sad stuff, but I found the whole thing like super meditative, almost like early Terrence Malick levels of meditation vibes here. Just great stuff. And like I said, top tier Dave pick for me. This was really fucking good.
Yay! Yeah, this I really like this one a lot too. I hadn't seen this before. I had been going through a Chinese crime film kick, and there's a lot of folks involved in this who are really excellent. The cinematography is absolutely great, as was said. That was done by Jia Li, who I think this was their first feature. They'd done some shorts. I think I saw one back way years ago, back during COVID lockdowns, called Malicious Justice. I think that's what first put this on my my radar. It was edited by Jin Lee Kong, who has been an editor forever. She was one of the editorial team on Farewell My Concubine way back in 1993. She also edited The Wild Goose Lake, which is excellent, and you should definitely go watch. I was gonna pick that, but I was like, well, I've seen that one. So I was thinking, well, what else is there? And I saw Streetwise, and I was like, oh, maybe that would be good. But then I thought a little bit more, and I'd considered I'm brain farting on what it's called. Chapong Hot Pot, which is another crime thriller that stars Zhu Zhao Li, the lead here. But then I thought, well, maybe I'll make you guys watch Only the River Flows, which I've also watched recently and is also amazing, and you should definitely watch it if you get a chance to. Then I went, I've seen that one, but that stars Mi Yi Huang is one of the secondary actors in it, who is the lead in the lead woman in this. So that brought me to Streetwise, and I am so happy I picked this one. Only the River Flows, and I just brain farted on the movie I just said like 30 seconds ago, are excellent. And you should watch them. But Streetwise, you should watch first. It is fantastic. It is everything I look for in stuff. It is a solid narrative with fantastic character work. The cast all bring their A game. It is incredibly well shot and edited. This film is just really, really fucking good, and you should look it up. Here in the States, it is on it's on Criterion. It's on Criterion Channel to stream, and you can get a Blu-ray from Deck Analog, who does awesome work. You should look it up because it is totally worth your time. Top tier neo-noir, and you know how I feel we should always have more of those. That's me, T. So if you want to tell us about St. John's Wort.
I would love to. St. John's Wort is about a game designer and his girlfriend who drive out to an old mansion she just inherited to film background for a new video game that she calls St. John's Wort. Guess what? I really like this a lot, guys. Like a lot. It's a horror movie that only could have came out in 2001, though. I mean, the Resident Evil like setting kind of felt like a Japanese William Malone walked into a PS1 era survival horror video game. I mean, that super early 2000s hyper flashy editing. I love the editing in this. I know I'm probably going to be alone there, but I fucking love the editing in this movie. I love the music, the isolated setting, the super washed out color palette. Really like the lead characters too. And I mean, sure, the plot is a little disjointed and confusing, but a lot of the games from this era are also disjointed and confusing. So that's part of its charm for me. I mean, it's purposely designed to feel like you have a PS1 controller in your hand while watching this movie. And I love that. I love that whole vibe. I mean, that vibe just hits me and the nostalgia feels so hard with like games like Parasite Eve and Nightmare Creatures, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, obviously, like I said, very, very reminiscent of the Resident Evil mansion, for sure. But yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of this. If this was released in America, this would have been put out by Dark Castle for sure. But yeah, Kevin and Dave went full Tyler this week, and you know I'm always here for that shit. So yeah, keep that going, guys.
We've been going full Tyler for weeks now.
I know.
We had Thriller tied with
Candy Snatchers.
Candy Snatchers. Then what was last week? It was very Tyler last week as well.
It's been very Tyler for about a month
It
and a half now. 2 months.
I know.
maybe.
It's because I keep rewarding you with fucking teenagers fucking.
No, that is not. We keep doing this to try to dissuade you into new areas, man. I guess it's time to stop being nice to Tyler. Okay, so this is a 2001 movie that is an ad for a 1999 remake of a 1991 SNES original game. None of them came out in the States, and there's a reason for that. Do you know what that reason is?
Witchcraft.
Americans can't read.
Oh yeah.
The game is it's a visual novel, which is, you know, it's a book you interact through. There's a lot of reading, and Americans can't read, and neither can Europeans or Canadians. Fuck you too, Canada. I didn't forget you. Yeah, this movie sucks. This movie is I'm T. I don't know what fucking movie you watched. Now recently somebody has translated the original SNES game, and maybe if I find time in the next couple weeks, I'll play through a couple routes and pop it up on our YouTube channel. Don't forget, we are on YouTube where you can like and subscribe videos that Kevin makes every week. He's a diligent boy. But this just, first off, the cast is atrocious. The cast is absolutely terrible. I mean, I will agree that Megumi Okina is very pretty. And she's actually in the original Japanese version of The Grudge. She's the last victim in that. But in this, she is not good. She's really bad. She's paired with Yoshihiro Sato, who is also atrocious. And besides them, there's not really anyone else except their two friends who I don't think have names and have never acted in their life. While I will grant to you that the blonde is adorable, she is not a character. None of these people are characters. What should be like an atmospheric walk through a haunted house is instead like the most overtly complicated. We have nothing going on, and we can't make atmosphere, so let's do some bullshit flash cuts every 30 seconds to try to trick people into either having a seizure or think something's moving on screen. It's just a slog. I am pretty forgiving when it comes to Japanese horror films. I am way forgiving when it comes to video game adaptations. But this was a chore, man. And worst of all, it didn't scratch that J-horror itch. Sometimes you're in the mood for something and it does not hit. This is a movie that is 100% just made for Tyler. Because it does things Tyler likes that no one else can really stand with. Even in 2001, this was too much. It's just a lot of desperation and very little anything. There's no scares. There's no story worth knowing. It's just a long ad for a video game none of us can play. I mean, and I'd be the first. I'll even fucking recommend a ton of visual novels. There's another visual novel film adaptation that's on my pick list also, but it's terrible and it's going to hurt us all. I didn't expect this one to be as bad as that and hurt us all. Well, not Tyler, but it hurt me.
I was going to do a little joke. I was going to say that, Tyler was disappointed that Sir John's Wort wasn't the biblical STD epic that he had expected. And then I watched the film and I thought, no, Tyler's not disappointed. Tyler's not disappointed by a single second of this movie. It was like an 84-minute like new metal music video for some like tie-in for a Resident Evil film. It was just so Tyler, and it was so. This is the second film I watched this week through another person's. Like, I don't even really know film. I just watched it through Tyler's eyes. I'm like, oh, Tyler, I love that. Oh, Tyler, I love that little edit there. I was just every bit of this film I enjoyed. I think thinking about how much Tyler would enjoy it. Like, there's a part where the lead's like, shush, what's that? Can you hear a child's voice? And all I'm hearing is boom ba da da bim bum ba da da ba da. Like Jonathan Davis noises throughout the film. I was like, this is Tyler's jam. This is like, and it didn't get me the whole way through. A little bit bored because it is kind of boring, but I think there's good stuff here. Like the aesthetic it was going for, and this is obviously the aesthetic it was going for. It does nail it. It does look like it's meant to look. I mean, I hate quite a lot of the editing because it's got one of my biggest bugbears is I call it the whoosh transitions. Like, your edits should not be making noises that are outside of the film. You don't do that. You need to stop that. Don't do it ever, ever, ever. It's one of the worst things that's ever happened in film ever. I hate it very much. And, the editing is just too hectic and very like, you remember those piracy adverts, Kevin? You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't punch a baby.
Oh yes.
It definitely had the look of those adverts in the editing department. So there was some good editing later on as well. It's just kind of a mixed bag depending on what's happening, but it's a very specific aesthetic and that I don't like, but I was excited that Tyler would like it. And they ramped up the contrast like way, way too fucking much. But there are things I liked. Like the CCTV shots, they have an eerie quality. I liked those. And I think the set design is fucking on point. The set design was really, really good. The problem is it's uninvolving. When Resident Evil, the first one, came out, my well off, so I was like at least one generation of console behind at all times. So I had a friend whose parents had much more money than my parents, and he had a PlayStation and he had Resident Evil, and my first million encounters with Resident Evil were just watching this kid play Resident Evil. And St. John's Wort was quite similar, just watching someone else play a video game, just uninvolving with little moments that you can enjoy. Like, I actually thought the cast were fine. I think the antagonist performance in the third act was particularly good. It's just the characters, they're paper fucking thin. There is nothing to these characters at all. They're just cardboard cutouts, and it just makes for a fairly tedious just a tedious experience. It's a very dull mystery. It's uncovered with weirdly like a weird lack of urgency considering what's going on in the movie. Like the whole middle act of this film is nothing. It is just doggy paddling, just keeping his head above water. Like nothing of note occurs except that at some point the lead actress gets changed into a really impractical outfit for the rest of the film. And I thought that kind of summed up St. John's Wort. Like all the consideration has gone into the aesthetics, and no consideration has come into like, now what do we do? Now where is this going? And it just kind of just flails about, and then for Craig, it's like it's just a dull slog. But for the tie that lived in Craig, for just 80-something minutes, it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed elements because boom badada bim bum badada.
I am now going to kill any enjoyment Craig could have had for this movie.
Oh,
It
no.
came out 4 days before Cairo in Japanese cinemas. So Japanese horror fans had to choose between this
Oh no.
or one of the greatest J horrors ever made. And think of all those poor kids that made this choice, that were scammed by their love of a video game when they could have seen a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Is that me? Is everyone else spoken about this?
Oh yeah, we've all gone.
Yep.
Did you take a nap again?
No, I
That's
just
why I heard snoring.
no.
Because I thought that was just my
thought
brain thinking about this movie.
Oh, yeah, I hadn't seen this one before. I picked it because I was excited about it. It was part of that J Horror Rising box set that I'd bought a while ago. And as I said, I've seen Carved, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. I've seen Nora the Curse. So it was between a couple of the others, and I went for this. And it seemed to have either had a pretty decent rep, or I'd just seen people chatting about it in a favourable tone. And I got my hopes up thinking this will be a good choice. And I quickly realised that could have been a mistake. Because yes, the one person that was going to love this was Tyler. Big's right about it being very similar to the anti-piracy ad and its styling. It's very slim. It's slight, and yet it doesn't even go as far as it could in terms of like the frights. Like, I know it's not Resident Evil or Silent Hill, whatever, but being in the same vein as those, have a random sort of dogs crashing through the window, big scare moment, have stuff like that, rather than sprinkle seeds of this plot throughout that ultimately adds up to nothing. It's at times it's a mood piece, and it's emulating parts of the game, and that's fine. But you can go further in the film. What gave me more appreciation for this was, though I did have time to actually rewatch this with a commentary. I think the commentator's name was just Amber T. I think it's on the Arrow disc and on the Arrow player, and she likes this film. She was able to convey her appreciation for it, and she pointed out some things I hadn't noticed. She also seemed to be familiar with the source material. I was explaining some of the games and explaining some of the details and the moments in the game that were sadly left out and could have been included to better effect. So I recommend the commentary track. And then watching it with some pointers did help me, notice a couple of things that I liked a bit more. I wasn't a big fan of the style of the film for the most part, but there are one or two cool transitions between screens, either the computer screen to the environment that other characters are walking around, or there's a really cool moment where someone's using a video camera on someone and then puts it down, and then you go through the screen or around the screen to them sitting down and continuing the conversation. That's good. There are hints of goodness here, and like I wouldn't say it's without merit. Even when they first arrive at the isolated location, it's it's not like it's not well produced or polished, but it's nicely in line with how you would imagine seeing that kind of scene in the game. So it works. It works for that. And some of the crudity or works for them warning about an environment that you can still relate to as the game environment. But it really should do better, I think. In either way. Like make the plot something worth bothering about, or pack in more skills. Because even the end that I didn't like the first time around, again on a rewatch, I get it. That's in a way that's kind of a fun little just extra bit for the gamers to enjoy, because of having a different option as you would if you were playing the game or playing the game again. So I I liked it when I looked into it a bit more and tried to learn a bit more about it. But yeah, as Dave said, this came out. Did you say it was like weeks before Pulse?
Days before.
Days, yeah. I mean, Pulse is Pulse is a far superior movie, and even some of the lesser video game horror movies around this time are films that are put ahead of this. But I knew that T wouldn't, because this feels like a really thin plot with video game visuals directed by William Malone with Japanese translators helping him. I was like, well, I've got T's vote this week. That's that. I couldn't have guaranteed his vote anymore if I'd also sent him a cartridge of the game and said, "There you go. Also play that once you're finished." Although I did like Streetwise, so there's nothing that's a foregone conclusion. I ended up getting more enjoyment from this, though, because of finding a bit more out about it and appreciating what it was aiming for. But that enjoyment didn't come from everything as it was on screen. And yeah, I don't mind Megumi Okina, but the rest were. I mean, this really could have worked as a solo performance piece. Like they could have had pixelated people just wandering around her, and I would have been just as happy with that. So it was not the best choice on my part, but I came to appreciate it a little bit more on a second commentary accompanied viewing.
Thinking about Pulse, I just learned that Kurosawa remade his own film Serpent's Path, but in French last year.
Yeah, I noticed that. I like Serpent's Path.
Me too. I'm really interested in this remake, but apparently it's not outside of Well, I mean, it's outside of France, but not. What's that word? I would steal this movie. So, that's what I'd have to do. Especially seeing this cast. Anyway, it's time to pick one. I think I speak for myself and everyone except maybe Tyler when I'm pretty sure it's Streetwise, right? Yeah, it's Streetwise.
Yeah, Streetwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Streetwise. I'll give Dave the sweep. But
Boom.
there's a but here. I
There's
30 minutes
always a but.
into 30 minutes into St. John's Wort, I pulled out my credit card and was buying this shit on eBay. So I was just I fucking love St. John's Wort. And the DVD was only $2.99 free shipping, and it's an Asylum DVD, and that surprised me because I didn't know the Asylum produced this or put out the DVD. They must have just put out the distribution rights or something.
Put
But
out the DVD.
yeah, but yeah,
it was produced by I had it written down, but I put away my notebook. So,
but yeah, Streetwise,
When I was
great movie.
Dave, you son of a bitch, I was taking notes about the video novel games and everything, and then as expected, you rattled them all off. I'm like, the one time I might have had some information to help contextualize the film and make me sound a bit smarter than usual. And Dave's like, no, I've played these games and I've read the books on it, and fuck you, you peasant. I will give you all this.
One of my all-time favorite games is a visual novel style game. I'm a pretty big fan of them. Actually, more than one of my all-time favorite games. One that I'm probably anyway. The movie was made by Kadokawa Shoten and Toho. So
I can't remember if it's the same type, but is it just in this similar vein, Clock Tower game?
no, it's
Was
not. I mean, I love Clock Tower, but it is not the same type of game.
Not a visual novel. Yeah.
No, that was a point and click.
There were a few specifics mentioned, and then there were a few just kind of horror games mentioned in Clock Tower, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, obviously. What was the one that you made us watch the stuff for? The Fatal Frames?
Fatal Frame's pretty groovy. Yeah, that's not a visual novel either.
Was that the one you made us watch? No, what was one you made us watch? Was it
No.
Night Trap?
Night Trap. Yeah, I love Night Trap.
Yeah.
Fucking love Night
Yeah.
Trap. I fucking love Night Trap. I had a lot of games I really love. But yeah, you guys might have to watch the adaptation of the Higurashi film, which is absolutely atrocious. The game is wonderful, but the live action film is it's something like, I think Higurashi is in word count it's longer than the Bible. And they cut that down to a 105-minute movie.
Wait, so why would we have to watch it? What are you threatening us with here, Dave?
Wonders is what I'm threatening you with.
Ah.
Wonders. Next week, it's Kevin and Tyler picking, and Tyler has a special theme to lay on us.
It's not me.
No, Craig. I'm sorry. I know.
Tyler.
You know what? I'm so traumatized by St. John's Wort that I was going to hold it against Tyler, and I was like, why did Tyler pick twice in a row? That doesn't seem fair. But no, it was you bastard.
Do you want me to go first, Craig, or you want to go?
But Craig should probably go first since you got two things to tell us.
Okay. So I'll start with the special for this month. This month we're watching tragic romance movies. So sad romance movies. Some romance movies that end tragically. And next week, I'm going with a movie that revolves around a subject that I love with all my heart, and that is music, about a band that I also really love quite a bit. We're watching The Dirt, the Motley Crue movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't think that Nikki Sixx's love for himself would count as a romance, but okay. What's your normal pick?
I think that was Tyler's normal pick, wasn't it?
Oh, you
No,
want
that
me to
was
tell
a
you
special pick. Yeah,
No,
your normal
that
pick.
wasn't my special pick. That's my pick for next week.
Oh, I
You
thought
want-
that was the special pick. You said what
Oh,
the
no.
special what? Okay, so what's your special pick? I'm sorry, I
Oh, okay.
misunderstood.
Sorry about that. My special pick is Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh.
I knew that, but when you gave the spiel, I was confused.
I didn't know we were dropping picks
Understandably.
already. Yeah, I didn't
Well,
know we
yeah,
were dropping picks.
there's only 3 weeks left in the month.
That is true. I don't even know what day it is anymore.
I might announce both picks as well. I might do my special pick because I think we were like a week late announcing them, so it gives people time to get theirs watched. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Decided on it. Okay. Well, my special pick is God, I cannot remember what it's called. It's fallen from my mind. Oh, it's Nicholas Ray's In the Lonely Place. Is it Nicholas Ray? I feel like that's a person. Yeah, go on then. Next week we are going to watch the final film by a legendary cinematic showman, William Castle. We are watching his 1974 fantasy horror Shanks.
That's
Wow.
a weird. I mean, one thing you can always count on us for is an interesting and varied film selection.
Motley Crue versus William Castle.
Wait, Craig,
Oh yes.
wasn't it you who once watched Shanks and then I jokingly threatened to pick Shanks if I ever wanted to make you watch it again?
I have never seen Shanks.
You've never seen Shanks. Dave, have you
I've
seen
never
Shanks?
seen Shanks.
I have seen Shanks. I don't remember discussing it on here, so
I'm sure one of us discussed it, and I was like,
possible.
jokingly being like, it's going on the list. And I'm sure someone was like, no, don't put it on the list.
I mean, because that's the one with Marcel Marceau. So I have definitely seen it.
The Mime?
I'm pretty sure I haven't. I'm 99% sure I have not seen it.
I might be, it might be something that was it. Is it
It
maybe
damaged Craig so much he has just repressed it.
Did somebody watch a
there's
dodgy
some
horror
weird
called
shit. There's no
Scalps?
way I've watched that before.
No, I've seen Scalps also. Yeah.
Oh God, I hate Scalps so much.
Right, it's maybe Scalps I'm thinking of. So that might be it. And you've probably mentioned that as a properly hated one, and I've maybe joked about picking it for the podcast and never did. That explains. That explains. No, I wouldn't. But that's why I was so confused when you picked Shank, though, because I was like, didn't he warn me off that one ages ago?
I know very little about Shank. I just William Castle. That's all I know, and that I own it on special edition Ultra HD. The world's gone mad, and I love it.
And we finally get a Marcel Marceau film. I don't know how many movies he made, but he definitely made Shanks.
I mean, I only know that in Silent Movie that he was in.
Hey, did you practice as you promised, or should I just?
I did not. I forgot.
T, you want to give him the
I will do it. I'll do it next week.
I would love to. It's funny. Just before I get to the business here, I thought I heard William, and I thought Craig has gone mad and picked the William Malone movie, so my heart fluttered just a little bit. I'm like, yeah, you really want to see me happy.
We've been too kind to you to stop. We needed to go the other way.
Craig really wants to see me happy.
Not even William Malone's wife has her heart fluttering when she hears William Malone's name. And you're there like, oh, someone get me some smelling salts.
Oh, I do love William Malone. I don't know why. He's only made like 3 movies, but fear.com is thebomb.com. So
I mean, no, he's done a little bit more than that.
Has he? He's done Creature, right? I haven't seen Creature in years, but I know he did that one.
Didn't he do
There's,
that weird parasomnia? that I know you love?
Parasomnia.
Here. He did
Yeah,
Madhouse
House on Haunted Hill.
and Madhouse, right? That was him
Uh,
with Jordan Ladd, I think. I think that was William Malone.
I don't remember.
There's far too many films just called Madhouse.
Yeah, I was gonna count Weird World, if you remember that. Creature Scared to Death, and he did a 1975 Holmes and Watson movie, or Holmes and Wollstone, where a guy who has a robot that thinks it's Holmes fight an alien. It stars, and I've seen this movie more than once, and that's why I remember it. It stars Jerry Mathers, the Beaver.
It sounds like Tyler would hate that.
Tyler
let's watch
would
it soon.
absolutely hate it.
Yeah, that sounds atrocious. Don't pick that because
Oh,
I
it's
wanna
not.
love William Malone.
It is not great, but it is on my list.
It is now 20-1 here in the UK. Tyler, do the business.
We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment on Kevin's awesome videos weekly. We have a Discord. We have a Blue Sky. You can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.
See ya.
Woo.